Hi, I'm Shine, and this is Divine Shine Tarot with your monthly love and career reading for my Cancers, Sun or Rising in March 2025. I'll leave the timestamps down below. I hope this reading finds you at a helpful time. Remember, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. If anything resonates, please let me know in the comments. Also, leave me questions or suggestions for readings you'd like to see from me in the future. I'm raising funds to purchase medical equipment, so I appreciate any donations or shiny items you care to gift from my Amazon and Etsy list linked below, if you're inspired, but not required. Now, I ask that the Spirit step forward to divinely guide my vision and messaging for these love and career readings. Let's get started. Hi, Cancer. As you could see, I got really far into your love life reading, but unfortunately, when I looked up, I realized the whole time it wasn't even recording. Oh no! What a disappointment. It's alright, everything happens for a reason. Maybe this could be the start of a new format. So we are not going to let these pulls go to waste. I'm just going to recap the reading as it is, and at least make sure that this message reaches you. So first, you got the King of Swords, which is a good decision maker and communicator that has good judgment, is very clear mentally, and can get to the truth of things. Then you got the World card, which signifies a sense of completion or accomplishment. Maybe you feel complete with not just your role in a relationship, but perhaps just with who you are at this stage in your life. You may feel like you don't need a relationship at this time. You got the Knight of Cups, which is someone who is very charming and romantic. This may be someone old or new coming back into your life, or coming into your life newly, that you may entertain a relationship with, or that could possibly be even you. You may be a hopeless romantic. The Five of Cups came out for you, which indicates a sense of grief and loss over some emotional connection or decision. You may have some regrets or certainly some disappointments over something. And then you got the Ten of Wands, which indicates a burdensome relationship that you maybe have been carrying the weight of the bulk of the relationship's responsibilities on your shoulders, which gets exhausting and indicates that may need to come to an end. So when I was reading this part alone, I felt like maybe there was someone advising you regarding someone in your life that you were feeling emotional about, and that the relationship had been imbalanced, but you perhaps were trying to push it forward and still make it work. And then we pulled out these clarifiers for you. The very first card you got was the Eight of Swords, and that indicates that you may feel trapped or stuck in something, but it may be of your own doing. You may be electing to stay in a relationship that is somewhat abusive, perhaps emotionally so, or just not reciprocal or balanced, and you may feel some shame around it, which would cause you to not share and feel isolated. But whenever you get this card, it is asking you to either take the blindfold off and set yourself free, or use your intuition to navigate this stage. Trust your gut in terms of tapping in with your true feelings and your true sense of what you should do to either stay in or get out of a tough situation. Then you got the Four of Wands, which indicates family, celebration, stability. And I interpreted this card as perhaps you having some ideals around what family and love and relationships should be. And those ideals may be what's keeping you in a relationship that may not necessarily be the best for you, which was followed by this Ten of Swords, confirming that idea that there is something that you have been working, a relationship that you have been fighting to keep it alive, to keep it going, but this has run its course and is coming to a painful end because you maybe do not want it to end. You are still pushing forward and bearing the weight and the responsibility, the burden of the relationship on your shoulders, but you must release it to get something new and better. Otherwise, you will continue to be in this troubled state. Then you got the Three of Wands, which indicates you are waiting for your ships to come in. In other words, you have invested in something and you're waiting to see the results and the reciprocity. But this spread did not necessarily indicate that you will. And then these two cards I pulled at the same time. Both of them came out at the same time. First, you got the High Priestess, which indicates needing to trust your gut, trust your intuition to help navigate, as mentioned in this Eight of Swords. And you also got the Ace of Cups in reverse. So that indicates emotional loss, emptiness. That stood out to me. Emptiness, repressed emotions, block logic. You may be in a relationship where you are repressing your emotions that you may feel empty in, just to try to make it work. And how is that really helping or fulfilling you? It's not. So the last card that came out in these clarifiers was the Temperance card in reverse, which indicates imbalance extremes, excess, overindulgence, addiction, self-healing, and realignment. So I assessed that in this spread, this card is giving you the advisement that you are in need of taking a time out for self-healing and realignment, because you may be giving, this word excess stood out to me, you may be giving more in this relationship than you're getting, which came up constantly in these cards. Then with your advice cards, you got shadow work, which says forgiveness and unconditional love. And then you got the facing fear card, which indicates courage and inner strength. So for these two cards, let me repeat the message from the booklet. Okay, Cancer, so you got this shadow work card, and the message with this, it says, shadow work is a process of diving into the aspects of yourself that are disowned. It's an unearthing of unacknowledged emotions that are repressed due to their unacceptable or seemingly distasteful flavor or expression. Your shadows are part of you that need to be loved. They need to be forgiven. Every part of you is divine. When this card comes up, it may be a shadow aspect that is asking for your attention and love. Are you feeling out of alignment, overly emotional, or are you self-sabotaging? It is time to do the healing work to integrate this unhealed aspect that is impacting you in your life. The challenge with shadow work is accessing the shadows themselves. Allow yourself to feel the emotion and then give yourself love and acceptance. If you are feeling bad about not living up to your own expectations, instead of berating yourself, love yourself completely and forgive yourself. Every aspect of you needs love and acceptance. This doesn't mean that we don't work to change the things that are no longer serving who we are becoming, but it is easier to shift things if we can accept what we have done and who we are right now. Cancer, so I interpreted that to reinforce this idea of maybe overgiving and having the repressed emotions that we saw in this reverse Ace of Cups. This is asking you to work on yourself, because there may be something that you are trying to heal through this relationship that really it's healing for yourself. There may be something that you need to work on, some ideals that you are trying to meet, some expectations that you are trying to meet, that this relationship may not necessarily fit that. And forgive yourself for maybe keeping yourself in a relationship longer than you should have. We go through things in life to learn. So once you do have that new perspective and that new information, making a change in your life, there should not be any sense of guilt associated with it, because you're dealing with a new set of information and awareness than what you originally had when you first found yourself in that situation. So that card is asking you to do some healing and practice some self-love at this time, to forgive yourself or those who may have hurt you and move on from the relationship. And then you got this facing fears card. The message here is, it is important to understand that choices made in fear result in situations born from that fear. There is no benefit to fear outside of the raw survival instinct that lets you know that it's time to run or defend yourself. All other fear is self-created by our beliefs and projected upon us by our society rules and expectations. I believe that what each of us fears the most is the unknown. There could be the loss of a job, the loss of loved ones, or one's own death. There are so many other types of fears. The fear of not being loved or understood, fear of judgment, fear of pain. We fear that if something bad happens to us, we won't be able to recover. This card is asking you to reflect on your fears. Healing and overcoming fear take intentional, ongoing spirit work. Begin by noticing the filters through which you are experiencing life and how they hamper your freedom. It may take radical trust and surrender to be able to move past certain fears, to trust that there is ultimately beauty in the unknown, beauty beyond this life and outside of our expectations. Cancer, so this leads me to believe that maybe you were in a relationship feeling a sense of fight or flight, and it also tapped into what I interpreted on this Four of Wands card, something to do with expectations, perhaps expectations from society or from your own network. You may want to have the image that a relationship lends you, such as being stable, being mature, having progressed in life, but it may not be worth it if it's not truly working for you. We go back to this Ace of Cups and the repressed emotions. That's not something that you can sustain long term. That's only going to continue to chip away at you, your self-esteem, and keep you feeling a sense of loss and grief. And so now I can circle back to this World card and interpret it as letting you know that maybe you have come to the end of this relationship, reinforced by this Ten of Swords, but you are probably going to step into a new and better version of yourself before you start a new relationship. This is advising you to take a moment to complete this journey, reflect upon yourself, take time for self-love and working on past traumas or healing, realign yourself so that you could be a better version of yourself to receive your next relationship, a healthier relationship that has more of the reciprocal love that you may be romanticizing and dreaming of having in your life. I hope you're able to find more balance, Cancer. So that is the monthly love reading for Cancer, Sun or Rising for March 2025. Now, let's move on to your career reading. Okay, Cancer, I made sure I'm recording this time. Spirit, what's happening in my Cancer's career and finances this month? What are they experiencing? What should Cancer prepare for in their career and finances? Ooh, this is a lot of cards. Let's see, this is the Tower. So something destructive and disruptive may be happening in your career. It could be job loss, it could be a project that doesn't really go as well as planned, but then you have the Sun, and this is good news. This is happiness, joy, positivity. So somehow things will still turn out for the better. You have the Lover's card. This indicates needing to make a difficult and impactful choice. So perhaps you are deciding between leaving or staying at a job or making a big investment in an entrepreneurial idea. 10 of Pentacles, that's a great card to have at a time that you are trying to make a tough decision. This card indicates abundance, wealth, family, legacy, so much stability. Or maybe you're just getting paid well where you're at. That might be what is difficult in the decision you're trying to make. You have Justice, which is about fairness, karma. What goes around comes around. There may be some sort of karma behind the decisions that you're making. Maybe you will get the rewards or the consequences of some decisions that you've already made. And then I usually don't pull this many cards, but since they all came out and I'm giving it a chance, this one is the Two of Swords, which indicates indecision, reinforcing that Lover's card that you may have a very tough decision to make at this time. Ace of Wands, the universe may be offering you a creative opportunity or idea that you're very passionate about taking on. And the Queen of Swords, she has great judgment. She has firm boundaries. She is able to cut through the nonsense and get to the truth, perhaps a little stern. So this could be you or someone that you work with or for. Let's get some clarifiers on what all these beautiful cards are saying, though they are a lot more cards than I usually pull, but at least it is definitely communicating that you are making a tough decision regarding your career and finance at this time. Wow. This flew out. You got the King of Swords. Just giving you a close-up of that. King of Swords right next to his Queen of Swords. And this says precise, articulate, truth, discipline, honest, mental clarity, authority. So this is a good card to have at a time that you are clearly making tough decisions. Really impactful, life-changing decisions. Let me finish pulling from this deck. Didn't even get to ask Spirit, please clarify this career and finance reading for my Cancers. So then you have the World card, but in reverse. And this says unfinished life lessons, lack of achievement, incompletion, failure, unfulfilled. So wherever you are working or wherever you want to work, it seems that you are trying to fulfill an ambition or a dream that will allow you to feel more complete. You do not feel complete at this time. You also have the Temperance card, indicating a need for balance, to be moderate, to be temperate. Very important when you are in a position to be making a tough decision. Along with all of this mental clarity, you want to be balanced, as this Justice card also indicates. Balance like the scales of justice. Let's pull another here, Knight of Pentacles. This is putting in the work. This is grinding. This is getting it done. A very reliable archetype. This says conservative, methodical, productivity, efficient, responsibility, dependable. So Cancer, you may have been propelled into having to make a really tough decision, some long-term life-changing choice after the destruction or disaster, some unforeseen reconstruction that happened in your life related to your career, place of employment, and finances. You may be juggling the options between something that's lucrative versus something that you love and that you're passionate about. And you or people that are advising you may be asking you to be very logical in your decision-making process at this time. You may already be very clear and level-headed in what it is that you would like to proceed with in your career and finances, with the options that you have before you, as well as the ambitions that you have indicated here in the World card in reverse that says unfinished life lessons, lack of achievements. You do want to achieve more, and you're a very hard worker, very diligent, consistent, perhaps meticulous. But this Knight of Pentacles indicates that you are perhaps very routined and dedicated in your work, and so you want to make sure that you are getting rewarded for it. So then with this Temperance and the Justice card, these cards indicate needing to find a balance between something you love and something that will be financially lucrative and rewarding. The thought process may be that more money, especially in this economy, is always the safer choice, but you may be at this time wanting to follow your heart. Either way, this Sun card indicates that you will be very happy on the other side of this decision. So let's get some additional cards out here to lend my Cancer some advice. Spirit, what advice or final message do you have for my Cancer's career and finances for the rest of March? Let's get a final message or some advice for Cancer for the next 4 to 6 weeks from March. Okay. The Alchemist. This is similar to saying someone who is the magician, which in tarot, the magician is capable of manifesting whatever they want. They have all the tools, all the power to create. Transmute. This may be asking you to take the bad and turn it into good. Let's get more information on these cards for you, Cancer. So Cancer, first you got the Alchemist card. The message here is, the Alchemist card indicates a time of metamorphosis. It is a call to view everything in your current life as an opportunity for growth. Right now is a potent time to plant the seeds of what you want to invite in. It is also a reminder that our thoughts are incredibly powerful. We may not feel like we have a lot of control over our lives, but we can work hard at changing our thought patterns to ones that empower us. Whatever they are given, the Alchemist is able to transmute. They may have a handful of bad ingredients, but they are able to make magic with what they have. It can be a long process, but they hold a vision for the final product while continuing to show up in their negative situation and slowly work at transmuting it. Someone who is in the shadow of the Alchemist may not believe in themselves. They may have both a fear of failure and a fear of success, keeping them paralyzed in their current situation. They can also minimize situations and keep their true feelings inside, as opposed to getting them out and moving on. A key to being an alchemist is naming what is happening so you can work with it. Cancer. So this makes me think of the Queen of Swords that I originally mentioned. Could indicate someone who's very rigid, closed-minded, perhaps a little cold, and so focused on logic in their decision making. The Alchemist card is actually inviting you to tap into your feelings in this decision making process, because you may be feeling paralyzed by this current decision making process and the fear of making the wrong choice, the fear of failure. So this is asking you to really consider your feelings. Perhaps something that is more passionate will be more fulfilling for you at this time versus something that is more lucrative. Only you can decide that once you connect with yourself, your true wants, and become more expressive and honest with your inner feelings rather than just what looks good on paper. But interestingly enough, in that message, it also mentioned transmuting. So taking the bad and making the good. Taking the lemons and making lemonade out of it. Which brings us to our next card, Transmute. The message here says, within you lies the ability to take dense energy and turn it into a lighter and higher vibration. You can do this in response to constricting situations, difficult relationships, or blockages within your internal landscape. Sometimes we do not need to consciously work at the issue, but simply have the intention of doing so. This card is an invitation to identify that which needs to shift and creating a sacred container for what you want to transmute. Okay, so this card is inviting you to find what's not working and put it in a space where you can make it work. Taking the good from the bad, which will help you step away from a sense of needing to be perfect, step away from perfectionism in your decision-making process so that you could feel good about making a choice that maybe is not necessarily super perfect, but will allow you to experience growth and changes, challenges, adventures, all a part of the life experience. So that is the March 2025 Love and Career reading for Cancer, Sun or Rising, for what's to come in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Remember, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. Leave a comment if anything resonated, or let me know any readings you'd like to see me do in the future. Hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons for notifications of my weekly horoscope, pop culture, and celebrity readings. Donations and gift lists are linked down below if you're inspired, but not required. I wish you all abundance and opulence. May divine light radiate through your life. Keep shining.